It's week 4 of yoga. We have 8 poses today, so we're just going to get right started. Hope you're doing good today. So come on down and sit in your crisscross, or also known as Sukhasana in yoga language. So crisscross applesauce, whatever you want to call it. Find a way to sit. Sometimes we have one foot that we put in front of the other. Try a different one, right? It might feel a little weird, but it's good for your brain and it's good for your legs. So just start here and crisscross and take 2 nice slow deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Now, as we've been talking about, the postures aren't really yoga postures unless we combine them with our breathing. So we're just going to make sure that we're doing that nice steady breath the whole time we're doing our postures, and I'll be sure to remind you. So first pose of this week is a seated side bend. So from this position, you just put one hand to one side and reach the other arm over. Yeah, maybe it's really high, maybe it's really low. One isn't better than the other. So just feel that stretch all the way down your side from your fingertips down to your hip. Good. Nice, and then come to center, go to the opposite side. Remember to breathe. And just remember, if you go low on one side, you might not get that far on the other side. That's all right. Nice, we'll come back to center. And next pose is butterfly. So we'll take the soles of our feet together. The soles of our feet are touching, our knees are open, and we're going to try and sit really tall right here. So you can hold your feet, you can hold your ankles, and just sit nice and tall. Imagine your legs kind of falling towards the floor. And again, take a nice slow, deep breath here. Sweet. All right, so the next 2 poses go together. One is bow, and the one previous is bow and arrow. So I'm going to move my mat just a smidge closer. There we go. For this one, we get onto our bellies. So come onto your belly facing the front of the room or the front of your mat. And once we're on our bellies, we'll just make our little pillow with our hands. Maybe chin rests on your hands, maybe forehead. So see which one feels better. For me, it's my forehead. Now, bow and arrow is basically half bow. That's what we call it in regular yoga classes. But I like to call it bow and arrow because it looks like a bow, right, on this side, and an arrow on the other. So just like dancer pose, I want you to grab your back ankle. If you can't reach it, just reach towards it. And reach your opposite arm forward. Cool, so my right hand is holding my right ankle. My left arm is extended, my left leg is extended. Sweet. Now bring yourself up on an inhale. Press your foot into your hand, just like you do in dancer. This might be your pose, bow and arrow. Or maybe you take it a step further and lift the other side of your body as you breathe. Keep your neck long. Try to look down at your mat and relax your face. Sweet. And then let that go. Make your little pillow again. Let yourself relax. We'll do the other side. So I'll bend my left knee, reach back with my left hand or my left ankle, or just reach towards it if I'm not reaching today. Happens to all of us. Other arm can reach forward. Take a big breath in to lift that foot up, pressing into your hand. And further, you might lift the arm and leg up. Looking good. Keep your neck long. Keep your breath flowing. Take another breath in, and then release. Come on down. Take your pillow, maybe take a different hand on top, and let's just do our windshield wipers for a minute. So walk your knees wider and let your feet go side to side. Just being sure to keep your feet on your own mat and not a neighbor's mat. Next is bow. So bow and arrow is half bow. Bow is just full bow. So you take your legs, you reach them back, like the bottoms of your shoes or your feet should face the ceiling. So see how my feet are kind of flat. I'm going to reach back for my ankles. Now maybe I'll show you. If you can't reach your ankles, you just lift up like this. It's not a big deal if you can't reach your ankles at all. Not even a little bit of a big deal. But if you can reach your ankles, you grab them and you press them into your hands as you lift. The goal here isn't to get super high, it's to feel your chest open, it's to press your feet back and strengthen the muscles in your back. So try to breathe here. Some people like to rock a little bit in bow. If you're on a blue mat, that might hurt your hip bones, so you can also not do that. And then let's release it. Take your hands under your forehead again, do your windshield wipers again. All right, so what's next is what my students love the most, and that's arm balances. I'm also a huge fan of arm balances. So the basic arm balance that we start with is called crane pose. Bakasana is the yoga word for it. And it starts in a low squat. So I come onto my mat, and my feet are kind of underneath my hips, and my knees are pointed out a little bit, so my arms can go inside my knees. See, my arms are kind of straight, and my knees are bent. Now I want to squeeze my arms with my knees. Do that for a second. Just squeeze your arms with your knees. Feel the insides of your legs getting stronger, kind of turning on. And then just press your elbows into that work, right? So you're squeezing your knees in and pressing your elbows out. Now what I see students do a lot is taking your hands really close together. That's not a good way to build a building, right? You need a broad foundation, right? So we want to have our arms nice and wide, about the width of our shoulders. So if your hands are like this, I want you to take them maybe even as wide as your yoga mat. All right? Now we've got our hands nice and wide. We've got our knees squeezing in, our elbows pushing out. Look forward, all right? Don't look straight down. Look forward. Lift your hips up. And with that effort of squeezing in with your knees and pressing out with your elbows, maybe you just lift one foot off the floor. Sweet. Try that and then try the other one. Good. Come on back and give yourself a break. Squeeze your wrists out. For those of us that stand on our hands a lot, we have a lot of wrist tension. Also people that use computers a lot. So this is something you can do even in class, just squeezing out your wrists and opening and closing your fists. Sweet. All right, so now let's try for 2 feet. All right, so hands again, nice and wide. My gaze, my eyes are looking forward. Hips are high, knees squeeze in, elbows press out. Again, maybe you just play with one and then the other. But once you get both feet up, you're trying to touch those toes to each other to make it kind of look neater. You just breathe in your crane. And come on down when you're done. A+, my friends. Now again, these poses are hard. You might not be able to do all of them. That's cool. Just give them a try, right? If you do these little bits every single day, you will be able to get stronger in your yoga and stronger in these poses. All right, let's keep going. We have 3 more poses. The next one is side crane pose. So this is just like crane, but on the side. So we'll start with our knees pointing forward. See how my feet are right underneath my hips. I'm gonna take my arms over to the side here. So I've got one elbow by my knee. I've got the other elbow by my hip, and those elbows are gonna make a little shelf for my body. Now remember, hands nice and wide. So my elbows are right on my hip bones and my knee bones. Maybe I lift one foot. Maybe you lift the other. Good, and you just breathe, 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 breathe. Having so much fun. Now maybe you try to straighten those legs. Maybe not. Give it a try. Come on down. Shake out those wrists. Give yourself a breath or two. I'm getting nice and warm and the school day hasn't even started yet. All right, now let's go for the other side. Remember, elbow to knee, elbow to hip. This is a deep twist, right? So do your best. Take your hands nice and wide away from each other. Look out so you're not going to fall into a somersault. Look forward. Lift your hips up. Make a little shelf with your elbows. Lean out. And then maybe you just tiptoe your toes out a little. Lift one. Eventually you might get both of them. You got to breathe at the same time, my friends. And then maybe you straighten your legs. I'm going to have to work on that one. Nice job, friends. All right, shaking out our wrists. The last 2 poses are standing. Standing balances, which are super challenging and fun. They challenge our strength, they challenge our focus, and they challenge our flexibility. So, just in case you're wondering the effects of these poses. First one is eagle. Now, students love eagle because it's like it feels like you're wrapped up like a pretzel. It's very grounding to kind of squeeze yourself into center. So like all of our standing poses, we start from mountain pose. So mountain pose, our hips are under our legs, our head is reaching up, and our fingertips are reaching down. Good. Now eagle, we come into chair position. So you got to bend those knees. Could be a little side view here. Take one leg up and over, right? Maybe it just kind of hangs there. Maybe the toes come to the floor or wrap around your ankle. From here, your elbows can go out into like a cactus shape, and you give yourself a hug. Here's your eagle pose right here. Maybe the backs of your hands and your palms connect. Sink your hips low as you reach your fingertips high. Breathing. Good. Nice job, my friends. Unraveling your eagle. Shake it out. Again, notice one side feels different than the other, right? When we do these one-sided poses, we always have to do them on the other side to even ourselves out. All right, so I'm going to come into that chair again. I'm going to take my other leg, lift it up and over, and wrap it. Wrapping doesn't work. You can take the toes down to the floor, or just let your leg hang there. You can probably hear my breathing is getting a little, because this is challenging me physically, right? So I'm balancing here. Maybe I just wrap. Now make sure you take the other arm on top than you did before. And then give yourself a hug or reach your fingertips up as you reach those hips lower in your eagle. Breathing and sinking. Good. Unraveling. There's the bell. Gotta get to my duty in a minute. Luckily, I just have one more pose left, so I'm gonna shake it out. Right now, most of you are out in front of the building waiting to come in. It's just before school is starting. One of my favorite balances is figure four. Now this also leads into an arm balance that gets pretty challenging, so I'm going to do my best to show it to you, but it's not actually one of our poses this week. So figure four balance starts just like any other standing pose in mountain. Take a breath. Then we bend those knees, and this time instead of crossing the leg all the way over, I want you to take the foot across your knee, kind of like you're sitting in a chair. This is like a reading the newspaper pose. I always say, just pretend you're reading the newspaper. Or you can take your hands together. This kind of helps us to keep our upper body engaged. So you press your hands together. Maybe this is challenging enough, right? If you want to go lower, you try and let your arms rest on that leg as you breathe. Now the arm balance, you take your hands down, you hook your foot around your elbow, you lean forward, and you try and lift this back leg up. Now I could show you guys a picture of me doing this pose. I can't do it right now. By the end of this school year, I'll be able to do it again because you guys love to see it and I get lots of practice. So come up, shake your legs out. Whew, nothing like a little sweat before the school day starts. My face is beating with sweat. All right, last side, last pose. You guys got this. So I'll give you a little angle here. Bend those knees. Figure four, other leg on top, reading the newspaper. Or taking your hands to your heart, leaning down, reaching your hips back, breathing. Now again, if you want to try the arm balance, this elbow goes underneath your knee. This elbow goes under your ankle. Your foot kind of hugs your arm. Hands have to be apart. Remember, not close together. Now you lean forward, breathe here. Maybe you lift that back leg. Maybe. Oh, not happening for me today, but that's just a bonus, right? That's called figure four arm balance. Breathe here, and then kick that leg forward as you come out, and shake it out. All right, I'm gonna get us seated for meditation. Meditation is next, so please come on down to Sukhasana, crisscross. Sit up nice and tall, and today for meditation, I'm gonna challenge you. Please sit in this position instead of laying down. The traditional meditation position is thumb and forefinger connected. Maybe you have your fingers down or your palms down, or maybe they're facing up. Sit nice and tall, and this is how we get ready for our meditation. I hope you guys had a good physical practice. That was a long one, 14 minutes. You guys are getting stronger every single day. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.